Hello, we are back. I'll put the music back on in a bit, maybe. I'll just have to mess around and see how things work out. Yeah, I'll have to mess around and see how things work. I'm messing with my headphones right now, so I can't really tell what is happening now. But today, if you read what we're doing, we're gonna be reading spooky stories because I found a website for it. I don't really know what's on the website, so I'm kind of worried, but we'll see what happens, I guess. Let's see if I should put the music back on. It was kind of happy music, so I was kind of like, eh. But who knows? Maybe the music will be good. Hopefully, it'll be good, is what I'm hoping. So all we have to do is pray. Pray the music will be good. Because if not, then, well, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. I'm trying to keep it low. Keeping the music low will hopefully do better. And I have to keep checking because there's only 21 songs. So I guess we'll just repeat. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Because I for real cannot hear this. Just crazy. Now, hopefully, I don't show nothing no crazy. I mean, there's nothing crazy here to begin with. Yeah, there's nothing here that's crazy to begin with, so I don't think nothing weird's gonna happen. Yeah, I don't think nothing weird's gonna happen if I do that. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can get my music. Yeah, no. And here's the thing I found. I found this website. I really do not understand this website, and I'm kind of scared. Not really scared. I love scary stories, but there's a bunch of different stories on here, and I don't know what we should do. Should we? There's these. We have horror story. We're gonna do urban legends and see what happens. We have a bunch of urban legends. My favorite, Mexican urban legends. They're just the best to me, I think. So we're gonna start off. Maybe we'll do this later. Let's see which one we have. We have a lot. We have a lot of these. Do they have my favorites? Okay, they have sub. Let's go back to urban legends. We're gonna go back to urban legends and see what we can find. Because we want it to be good. We want good urban legends, is all I'm saying. Let's see. Hmm. There's a bunch of different urban legends we can read. There's urban myths, scary legends, They got the Candyman. Or we should do Halloween stories first. Because Halloween, of course, is almost happening sooner or later. We should do Halloween. Let's see. Just because I like it, we're gonna do Halloween night and see what appears on here. I am not buying nothing from you guys. There's a bunch of ads. Look at that picture. That's so that's so weird. It reminds me of like Jason and stuff. Kind of weirded out. I don't know. Are we ready? Is the audio even going? Let's see. We need the audio just a little bit to be able to get us in a mood. Even though it probably isn't really even that scary. It's probably fun. Which I wish we had more scary, but it is what it is. Let's see. I'm probably gonna switch the mic. I don't think I can switch my mic actually, so sucks. Yo, be stuck with this voice. Happy, scary, I don't know what it is. Probably not even scary. How do I zoom in? That's too zoomed. I zoomed in as best as I could. Which wasn't really that far. But it is what it is. Get ready, get your popcorn, get whatever you need for Halloween night. I'm gonna read you the subscription, whatever you call that, the title thing. I don't know what you call them anymore. I'm tired right now. Just woke up a bit ago. Halloween Night is a horror story about four young girls who have an encounter with a creepy man on their way home from a Halloween party. Get ready. I'm preparing myself. I should have got me some water before I started. On Halloween night in 2002, four young girls were walking down a lonely street when they passed by an old church. Standing outside was a man dressed in a clown costume. He asked the girls if they had seen his puppy. When they said they hadn't seen it, the man asked them to help him find the lost dog. The girls agreed to help in the search, and the man in the clown costume led them into the old church. Ooh. As soon as they went through the door, the man locked it behind them, trapping them in the old building. Ah, nah. Screw that. The girls realized that they had been tricked, but it was too late. They tried to flee, but he was too fast for them. Boys trying to be Pennywise. The man tied the girls up and kept them in the old church for hours. I would have been dead already. I would have been dead. I would have died. I don't want to read this next one. He did unspeakable things to them, and their screams echoed off the marbled walls, the wooden rafters in the ornate ceiling. After he had his fun, the poor unfortunate girls thought he would let them go, but they were wrong. He killed them one by one, and then escaped into the night. People who saw the clown walking down the street didn't think anything of it because it was Halloween night and many people were wearing costumes. If only they had known that his clown costume was red because it was covered in blood. Ooh. The next morning, the local priest was surprised to find the church doors were unlocked. He went inside and, in the darkness, he heard a mysterious dripping sound. As he walked down the aisle, he saw a pool of blood lying on the altar. He quickly turned on all the lights in the church and gasped in horror at the terrifying sight that met his eyes. That was a download thing, I'm not doing that. The dripping sound was coming from the headless bodies of four young girls that were hanging upside down from the rafters. Their blood was dripping down from the bloody stumps of their necks and forming a pool on the altar. But worse was yet to come. The girls were buried in the small cemetery behind the church. Just a few weeks later, their parents received four mysterious packages in the mail. Oh, no, it was their daughters. They received their daughters in the mail. Some people say that if you visit the old church on Halloween night, you will see the ghost of the four young girls standing on the altar. According to the legend, you can still hear their screaming echoing in the darkness. To this day, the man who, the girls, has never been found. So if a man ever comes up to you and asks you to help him find his lost puppy, remember this story. Ah, nah. I wouldn't even help an old man. I don't care if he's old or not. He ain't getting nothing from me. I ain't helping him find no puppy or anything. The furry collar. The furry collar is the thing it's called.
So, you got an idea for a business. The store
Let's
you're
see
dreaming
what
of,
else
there's
we
just
can
one
find.
thing to figure out. Everything. That's why
This is
Shopify's
called Girl in the
all-in-one commerce platform
Mask.
makes it easy to sell online, in person, and
I don't
everywhere
know.
else. Sell on social media, source products with an app. To get that first
That
sale,
one's kind of weird. It's called
Solution
Till
gives you
Death
everything you
Do
need
Us
to sell
Part.
everywhere you want. So when you're ready to bring your idea to life, power it
I'm
up
kind
with
of
Shopify.
interested, but I don't know what it's about. Now I'm like, ugh.
Turn up the volume. This is Hits
We're clicking on it.
2023. Ice Spice. Dua Lipa.
Let's see what this is about. A newly married couple, Bill and Mabel,
And
bought a house in a nice secluded part of Maine. After they moved in, their neighbors came to visit and warned them that their house was haunted.
listen now on Spotify.
I don't like that picture. I'm already tired. Bill and Mabel disregarded the tales that they heard from their neighbors. They didn't believe in ghosts and weren't about to start now, just because some silly neighbors believed in the paranormal. But Mabel was curious about the history of the house, so she contacted the real estate agent and told him she had heard odd stories about the house being haunted. The realtor said that, by law, he should have disclosed the history of the house. Apparently, there had been a string of horrible murders committed in the house years before by an insane serial killer. The murders were only discovered after the killer had died. Ooh, that happens, I think, a lot. He had been smoking in bed when he fell asleep and accidentally dropped the cigarette on the bed sheets. Oh no, he caught fire. His bed caught fire and he burned without ever waking up. His corpse had lain undiscovered in the house for years. Eventually, the police had broken in and found his body lying in bed. They dug up the garden and found the remains of his victims. The story unnerved Mabel, and she began having nightmares about the killer. She told her husband that she was beginning to believe that the stories of the haunting could be true. Mabel frequently complained about the feeling that someone was in the room during the night, and sometimes she would wake suddenly during the night, convinced that she had felt cold, bony hands touching her body. You see, girl, this is when you would move out. I don't know what's going on, but I would leave immediately. I would not stay. If when I heard that story had happened, I would leave. I would try and sell the house, man. No one would want to buy that house anyways, you know? Ugh. scary. Not really. Bill thought Mabel was just being silly. Why would you think your wife's just being silly? Why would your wife be silly to you, huh? But to keep his wife happy, he promised to stay up all night and keep watch over her. Bill was confident that if she woke up after feeling the cold, bony hands and nobody was there, she would realize that it was all in her imagination. True to his word, Billy stayed up for the whole night. Around midnight, the room began to feel uncomfortably warm, and he was gripped by the feeling of an overwhelming thirst. Leaving Mabel sleeping softly, he went downstairs to the kitchen to get a glass of water. See, that was your first mistake. First mistake, dude. God. This is gonna be crazy. Upstairs in the darkened bedroom, Mabel awoke with a start. She heard footsteps outside the door, and then someone came into the room. She assumed it was her husband, Bill. She leaned over in bed to give him a kiss, but her lips touched something cold and bony. Oh, no. Leave that house. Please. Bill heard the most horrible screaming coming from Mabel's room. He rushed upstairs and screamed in horror at what he had found. Mabel's dead body lay stretched out on the bed. Her face was twisted in an expression of utter terror. Bill rushed downstairs and called the police. You better call the police. Several nights later, Bill was finally sleeping peacefully until around midnight. Again, feeling very thirsty, he went downstairs and got a glass of water. When he went back upstairs, he was surprised to see a large lump in the bed. It was moving. He ran over and ripped off the bed sheets. The ghost of Mabel sat up in the bed. Oh no. She had tears in her eyes, and her cheeks were hollow and sunken. The dark form of another man crouched beside her. A terrible skeletal man with the face of a, I don't know how to say that, desiccated corpse. The skeleton man clutched Mabel's head in his cold, bony grasp and made her kiss him. Tears streamed down Mabel's face. In her hand, she held the biggest knife Bill had ever seen. Didn't you promise me, Billy? Didn't you promise? Till death do us part. You promised, screamed Mabel, as she floated towards the frightened and paralyzed Bill. I mean, you did promise till death do us part, so I mean, that's on your own thing. You said till death do us part. Let's see. Okay, so that happened. Yeah, that happened, I guess. This music is, I finally got the music back. This really is not some Halloween music, I think. But I mean, it's fine, I guess. What's the next story we should read? What is the doll lady? I just came across that. Okay, let me read. The Doll Lady is a scary tale for Halloween about a woman in a small village who makes dolls for children. I don't think I'm feeling this one. We're gonna go to Urban Legends, I think. Yeah. You want to read about the babysitter? I think that's gonna be a great urban legend. I never heard of it, so I think maybe it'll be fun. The Babysitter Story is a scary story based on an urban legend about a teenage girl who is babysitting 3 children one night when she receives a creepy phone call from a strange man. It is also known as The Babysitter and the Man Upstairs. A version of this tale appears in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. We're gonna read it. I also see that creepypasta is on here, so maybe we'll read some of that later. Please tell me I don't have to... Please tell me. There's so many ads on this. There's so many ads on this website. I don't like it. But I mean, we gotta do it for the scary stories. There was a young girl who was in need of a job. What? There was a young girl who was in need of a job, was able to find work as a babysitter for a couple who lived in a large, isolated old house. They were going out to see a movie that night and left the teenage babysitter in charge of their 3 young children. Do people still trust teenagers? I guess so. The babysitter put the children to bed when it got late and then went downstairs to watch some television. She was just getting comfortable when she heard the phone ringing. And when she answered it, all she heard was heavy breathing, followed by a man's voice asking, "Have you checked on the children?" Ooh. Freaked out, she hung up the phone, trying to convince herself that it was just someone playing a practical joke on her. She went back to watching television, but about 15 minutes later, the phone rang again. She picked up the receiver and heard hysterical laughter from the other end of the line. Then the same voice asked, "Why haven't you checked on the children?" The babysitter slammed down the phone. The poor girl was frightened out of her wits and immediately called the police. The operator at the police station told the babysitter that if the man called again, she should try to keep him talking. That would give the police time to trace the call. That's a no. That's a big no. A few minutes later, the phone rang a 3rd time, and when the babysitter answered it, she heard the heavy breathing again. The voice on the line said, "You should really check on the children." The babysitter listened to him laughing hysterically for a long time. She hung up the phone again, and almost immediately, it rang again. This time, it was the operator from the police station who yelled, "Get out of the house right now. The calls are coming from upstairs, from the upstairs phone." Oh no. That's terrifying. Ugh. My worst nightmare is someone being in my house, actually. The babysitter dropped the phone in shock, and suddenly she heard heavy footsteps walking down the stairs. Without pausing for a second, she ran out of the house as fast as her legs would carry her. Just as she closed the front door behind her, a man's hand slammed against the glass. She screamed and ran out into the street just as a police car was pulling up outside. The police searched the house and found the 2 children upstairs hiding in the closet. Crying uncontrollably, oh my god. In the parents' bedroom, they found a bloody axe lying on the floor next to the upstairs phone. The black window was wide open and the curtains were blowing in the breeze. There was no sign of the madman who had made the phone calls. He had escaped into the night when the police had arrived and managed to interrupt his horrible plan to kill the 2 children and the poor babysitter. I thought there was 3 children. Hold up. There was 3 children. There was 3 children. Why are there only 2 now? Why are there only 2 children now? Okay. So that happened. Does anyone feel up for reading Bloody Mary? Or any Japanese urban legends? We can read about Japanese urban legends. Because there's a bunch. There is a bunch on here. Is this the Slipknot woman? We're gonna read her. Or is this? Let's see. I don't know how you say her name, and I'm afraid of pronouncing it wrong. I'm afraid of pronouncing her name wrong. It's the Slipknot woman. I think it's Kuchosaki Onna. Kuchosaki Onna. I think. Kuchisake Onna. Yes, I think that's how you say it. Kuchisake Onna, also known as the Slipknot woman, is a scary Japanese urban legend about a disfigured Japanese woman who brandishes a large scissors and preys on children. You got this, you better not do anything bad. She has an enormous slit mouth which extends from ear to ear in a horrible permanent smile. And there she is. Well, probably from the movie, because I just saw there was a movie for that. Let's see. The slit-mouthed woman walks the streets of Japan wearing a surgical mask and hunting for children. If you cross her path, she will stop you and ask you a horrible question. If you give her the wrong answer, there will be horrible consequences. Ah, nah. There's gonna be horrible consequences. You hear that? That's not gonna be good. Not gonna be good at all. What's the next song? Because this one's gonna... Okay, not that bad. Is there anything else? Okay. There is more to the story, apparently. Picture the scene. You are walking home from school, and your path takes you down a deserted city street. Suddenly, you hear a faint noise coming from the shadows. You glance over and see a beautiful woman standing there. Ooh. I feel bad for her, kind of. She has long black hair and is wearing a beige trench coat. A surgical mask covers the lower half of her face. In Japan, wearing a surgical mask is not uncommon during flu season to prevent spreading germs. She steps out of the shadows and blocks your path. Am I beautiful? She asks. Ooh, I think she is. Before you can answer, she tears off her mask, revealing a hideously deformed face. That's messed up. Her huge mouth, that's also messed up, is sliced from ear to ear and gapes open, revealing rows of sharp teeth and a big, red, disgusting tongue twisting and twirling inside. Am I beautiful now? She screams. Terrified, you struggle to answer her. If you say no, she pulls out her huge pair of scissors and, and do. If you say yes, she takes her scissors and slices your mouth from ear to ear, making you look just like her. If you try to run away, she'll hunt you down and also end you. The only way... There's so many ads on here. The only way you can escape from Kuchisake Onna is to give a non-committal answer. If you say you look average or you look normal, she will be confused and give you just enough time to run away. There are many rumors about Kuchisake Onna. how Fujisawa got her horribly disfigured mouth. Some say that her split mouth is a result of plastic surgery that went horribly wrong. Others say that she was injured in a terrible car crash. Some even believe she's an escaped mental patient who was so demented that she cut her own mouth apart. Is there more? There's more. I just found out there's more. According to one legend, years ago in Japan, there lived a very beautiful woman who was extremely vain and self-absorbed. Her husband was a very jealous and brutal man, and he became convinced that she was cheating on him. In a fit of rage, he took a sword and slit her mouth from ear to ear, screaming, "Who will think you're beautiful now?" She became a vengeful spirit and began wandering the streets of Japan, wearing a surgical mask to hide her terrible scars. The slit-mouthed woman's reign of terror began in the spring and the summer of 1979, when rumors began to spread through Japan about sightings of Fujisake Onna hunting down children.
Listen now on Spotify.
What the heck is this ad? We don't want ads. We just want music. I never got it in an ad before. I really need to get premium. But I don't got the money for premium right now. Let's wait for the ad. Hopefully it's almost over. Because I just heard it and I was like, no. That doesn't help us be in the mood if we have an ad. There we go. We got some music. Let's see. The story spread like wildfire and actually created scares in many towns. Police increased their patrols, and schools sent teachers to walk students home in groups. We got more, guys. Stupid ads. In 2004, South Korea was plagued by reports of a red-masked woman who was chasing children. In 2007, a coroner found some old records from the late 1970s about a woman who was chasing little children, but was hit by a car and died shortly after. Her mouth was ripped from ear to ear. The USA has its own version of Fujisake Onna. There were rumors about a clown who appeared in public bathrooms and accosted children asking, "Do you want death or happy smile?" If they chose happy smile, he took out a knife and, oh my goodness, and cut their mouths from ear to ear. So, that was a thing. Okay, that happened. We need more though. Ooh, I know who would be very happy about the Hanako-san one. Oh my goodness. Hanako-san. Let's see. Hanako-san is a Japanese urban legend about the ghost of a young girl that's supposed to haunt school toilets, opening and closing doors and scaring anyone who enters the bathroom, knocks on her stall, and calls her name. Let's see. I know some people are gonna like this one. Hanako. The ghost in the toilet almost achieved the status of a national phenomena in Japanese legend 20 years ago, when a wave of stories of ghost sightings swept through the nation's schoolyards. Every child had a Hanako story to tell. The stories, of course, are many and varied, but every school child in Japan at one time or another had stood in dread and anticipation as he or she ventured into the school toilet alone. This is similar to the legend of Kashima Riko, a female ghost without legs who also lives in school bathrooms. She calls out, "Where are my legs?" when people enter the bathroom. The correct way to answer her varies. In one version, you have to say Kashima Riko. Kashima. That's weird. Kashima Riko. Gamin, which is mask, Shi, Shinin, which is dead person, and Ma, which is demon. Ooh. Yet another version features Oi Manto or Aka Manto, a male ghost who waits in the last stall in the girl's bathroom. Anyone entering the bathroom hears a voice asking, "Which do you prefer, the red paper or the blue paper?" If they pick red, he basically, offs them. It makes it look like they're wearing a red cape. If they pick blue, then yeah, you can probably see what that says. He's known as Aka Manto, Oi Manto, Oi Hanten, Akagami, and Oikami. So it's basically the same. That's what they're saying. He didn't really say anything. It makes me sad. Yuki-onna. What's Yuki-onna? Yuki-onna, or the Snow Woman, is a classic ghost story legend from Japan about a young man who encounters a mysterious woman in the snow. She turns out to be an evil spirit who agrees to spare his life under one condition. We're gonna read this one too. It's a 7-minute read, I guess. Yuki-onna. Crap. I need to clean my glasses. I can't see. They're kind of dirty. We're gonna read about Yuki-onna. And we're probably gonna have some okay fun, maybe not. It depends on what type of person you are. It really depends. In a small town in Japan, there lived two hunters named Mosaku and Minokichi. Mosaku was an old man, and Minokichi, his son, was 16 years old. I'm sorry if I read the names wrong. Just thought of that. Every day, they went out together into the forest and hunted rabbits and other animals, which they could bring home and cook for dinner. Ooh, hunting. One cold evening in winter, Mosaku and Minokichi were on their way home when they got caught in a blinding snowstorm. They couldn't find their way out of the forest and became very worried that they would freeze to death. Luckily, they came across an abandoned cabin in the wilderness where they could take shelter for the night and wait for the snowstorm to pass. Luckily? Nah, I don't think that's lucky, my guy. It was a tiny hut, and there was no fireplace or any way to make a fire. Mosaku and Minokichi fastened the door and lay down to rest. Shivering with their coats pulled tightly around them. They hoped that the storm would soon be over. It's not. The father immediately fell into a deep sleep, but the boy, Minokichi, lay awake a long time, listening to the wind whistling through the loose boards of the old cabin and the snow beating against the door. The ramshackle hut swayed and creaked in the storm, and Minokichi shivered under his coat until, at last, in spite of the cold, he managed to fall asleep. I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. I'm just saying that now. I would be like freezing. I don't think I could fall asleep. He was awakened by the feeling of snow falling on his face. When he opened his eyes, he could see that the door of the hut had been forced open. He saw a strange figure standing in the moonlight. It was a woman, dressed all in white. Is it just me, or do all of these horror stories involve women dressing all in white or something? Because I don't understand why they're always all dressed in white and just... Is white supposed to be scary? Because when I see white, I think of pure for some reason. Let's see. She was bending over his father and breathing on him. Her breath was like a bright, white smoke. Suddenly, she turned to Minokichi and stooped over him. He tried to cry out, but found that he could not utter any sound. The white woman bent down over him, lower and lower, until her face almost touched his own. Yee. She was very beautiful, but her eyes were glowing yellow.
Ooh, yellow. He was terrified, and she continued to stare at him as she whispered, I am the Snow Witch. I was going to kill you, but you're such a pretty boy. I will let you live. But if you ever tell anybody, even your own mother, about what you have seen, I will kill you. Never forget this warning. With these words, she turned around and floated through the doorway. The boy jumped up and looked outside, but the Snow Witch was nowhere to be seen. And the snowstorm was still raging, driving snow into the hut. Minokichi closed the door and wedged a log against it to keep it closed. He began to wonder if he had just been dreaming. Perhaps the Snow Witch was a figment of his imagination. He called out to his father, but the old man did not answer. The boy put out his hand in the dark and touched his father's face. It was completely frozen. His father, hit the count. He wasn't there anymore. By dawn, the snowstorm was over, and Minokichi had dragged the frozen corpse of his father back into town. Thanks alone, Cloudus, for the follow. We'll really appreciate that. I give small clap. I don't know if you could hear that. By dawn, the snowstorm was over, and Minokichi had to drag the frozen corpse of his father back into town. See, that's another fear of mine, probably. Family gone. He was devastated by the death of his beloved dad and remained ill from the effects of the cold for a long time. He got sick. He had been so frightened by the Snow Witch that he didn't tell anyone about her. The police assumed his father had, froze to death in the forest and never asked any questions. He said nothing about the vision of the woman in white to his mother either, fearing that the ghost would return and, off him as well. Creepy ads. Ooh, I saw that just now on the bottom. As soon as he was well again, he returned to hunting in the forest every day. He had to put food on the table somehow. You got your priorities set straight, my guy. At nightfall, he would come back with dead rabbits, which his mother helped him cook. Is there any more? There's more. I just see there's more. 1 year later, in the middle of winter, he was on his way home when he met a girl who happened to be traveling on the same road. She was tall, thin, and very good looking. That's all I think about. As they walked down the road together, they began to talk. The girl said her name was Oyuki, and she had recently lost both of her parents. She was on her way to her uncle's house where she hoped to live for a while until she could find a job. Minokichi was very attracted to the strange girl, and the more he looked at her, the more beautiful she appeared to be. You go, my guy, I guess. I don't know, it's kind of weird. They dated for a few weeks and gradually fell in love. Then, Minokichi asked Oyuki to come to his house for dinner and she could meet his mother. After some hesitation, she went there with him and his mother found the girl very pleasant and friendly. Eventually, the young couple got married and Oyuki came to live in Minokichi's house permanently. When Minokichi's mother died a year later, her last words were of affection and praise for the wife of her son. And Oyuki bore Minokichi 10 children, boys and girls, handsome children, all of them, and very fair of skin. Good for her, I guess. The country folk thought Oyuki a wonderful person, by nature different from themselves. Most of the peasant women age early, but Oyuki, even after having become the mother of 10 children, looked as young and fresh as on the day when she had first come to the village. Oh my gosh, imagine having 10 children. That sounds horrible for some reason. One night, after the children had gone asleep, Oyuki was sewing by the light of a paper lamp. And Minokichi, watching her, said, "To see you sewing there, with that light on your face, makes me think of something strange that happened when I was a lad of 18. I then saw someone as beautiful and white as you are now. Indeed, she was very like you. Without lifting her eyes from her work, Oyuki responded. Tell me about her. Where did you see her? Then, Minokichi told her about the terrible night in the ferryman's hut, and about the white woman that had stooped above him, smiling and whispering, and about the sudden death of old Mosaku, and he said, ooh, what is he gonna say? Asleep or awake, that was the only time that I saw a being as beautiful as you. Of course, she was not a human being, and I was afraid of her, very much afraid. But she was so white. Indeed, I had never been sure whether it was a dream that I saw or the woman of the snow. Oyuki flung down her sewing and arose and bowed above Minokichi where he sat and shrieked into her face. It was Yuki, it was, and I've told you that I would kill you if you ever said one word about it, but for those children asleep there, I would kill you this moment, and now you had better take very, very good care of them, for if ever they have reason to complain of you, I would treat you as you deserve. Oh dang. Even as she screamed, her voice became thin, like a crying of wind. Then she melted into a bright white mist that spired to the roof beams and shuddered away through the smoke hole. Never again was she seen. Ooh. That's why you don't mess with people you meet on the road. We got more, but like there's so many. There's so many for this. We're gonna go Mexican urban legends because gotta support my people, I guess, in any way possible. I don't know. It's what we gotta do, you know? Let's see. I don't know if you left or not, but you said hi to me, and I feel bad that I didn't say hi back. I feel horrible now. Let's see. Because I haven't figured out how to put chat on screen yet. But I'm pretty sure I will figure out at some point. I just haven't figured it out yet. Which I'm pretty sure, yeah, we'll figure out.
This is Hits 2023.
But not yet. And I'm on an ad again. God. Ads are annoying. But while we wait for the ad, we can look which one we want to read. We got El Cucuy. Ooh. Chupacabra. La Bruja. I remember that one last year from a class I had with some kids. They mentioned it because they said that her mother or her grandmother or something saw La Bruja outside the house or something. I can't remember. It was some weird story. It's really hard to remember. But I remember it very vividly because it was like in a presentation to the school. Well, not to the school, but to the kids in our class, and that's what happened. It was very, very weird. I like talking to them about that. And the music's back. Apparently, it says it's back. I don't know if you can hear it good. Let's read about La Bruja. I feel like I don't hear much about that. They keep giving me weird Temu things. I don't want anything from Temu. La Bruja is a creepypasta story about a Mexican witch who kidnaps children. And I don't know if you guys are ready for... Hold up, let me hear this music. Not very. This feels. Let me find some better Halloween music. We're gonna find some. Now, I don't really know about any of these because I can't see. They say they're copyright free, but like, I don't trust some of these things, you know? Wait, I think it's the same thing. It just has more, I can't tell. It looks the same. We'll just play it again. We'll just replay music. After this song, I guess. Cause, yeah. Let's get ready to read La Bruja. I gotta get my best voice together for this. My mother told me this story once, and my grandmother told me that she lived through it. In the early 1960s, there was a small town in Mexico where a lot of babies just happened to be born around the same time. It is said that there was a woman who haunted the town. She was not a ghost. She was one of the 200 people that lived in the town at the same time. People say that she was a witch, a worshipper of the devil. And many people said that she would go out into the fields in the middle of the night when everyone was asleep. Some local farmers claimed that they would see her whenever they would go outside to check on their animals, because their animals would make a lot of noise whenever she passed by. They could never tell who it was because it was always pitch black and they couldn't see a thing. It was a poor town with a couple of streetlights. People weren't so worried about her for a while because they saw that she did no harm to them, until something terrible happened. Ooh, no, something terrible happened. One night, a married couple slept with their baby between them. They were so poor that they couldn't afford a mattress and had a carpet as their bed. The parents did not sleep too close to their baby because they were afraid that they would accidentally roll over and hurt their child. The mother and the father were deep into their sleep until the mother heard the baby cry terribly. It shrieked a blood-curdling scream loud enough to wake up my grandmother and grandfather who lived next to them. The baby cried and the mother woke up again and tried to put him back to sleep. Whenever she went to sleep, she heard the baby cry once more. She woke up again and did the same thing as before. This went on for about 2 more weeks. The mother became angry and impatient with her baby because she was really tired. The father was asleep and would not wake up no matter how many times his baby cried. The 5th time that the baby cried, the mother ignored it. Why would you ignore that? Let's change the music. We're changing it back to regular, wherever this is. Why would you ignore your baby? What is wrong with people? I'm feeling this. The baby cried for another couple of minutes. The mother continued to ignore her baby until she subconsciously heard someone walking outside. She heard the door squeak open slowly. Then it shut loudly. The door was made of thick metal, so the loud sound terrified her and finally woke her and her husband up as well. When she looked for her baby, she saw that he was quiet and thought that he was sleeping. The mother asked her husband why he wouldn't wake up before. Said that he never heard anything. That's how I felt that scream right now. When the mother went to hold her baby, I'm so sorry, she saw that he was cold. She kissed her baby to try and wake him up, but couldn't. The baby, hit the count. When she took off his blanket, she saw that his stomach and arms had scratch marks. Someone was hurting her child while he was sleeping. Then her husband cried. I can't even read that right now. La bruja lo mató a mi hijo. The witch killed him, she killed my son, basically. The mother swore that she heard a woman giggling. After that, many parents held their children close to them whenever they slept. Sometimes children would cry in the middle of the night out of nowhere and their mothers would begin to pray. The children, who could speak, said that they could feel someone grabbing them. The witch would never leave after. The witch would leave after, I'm so sorry. It wasn't until years later that the two children died. A brother and a sister, except it was in a river in the town. One swore that he saw a woman pushing the boy and girl's heads into the water and laughing when she did so. He yelled at her to leave them alone and ran to stop her. She kept laughing at him and was singing as he ran towards her. But when he almost reached her, she was gone and the boys and the girl, they hit the count in that river. Sad, I guess. Why am I saying I guess? It is sad. People began to suspect women could be the witch, but coincidentally, many people left the town around the time to move to other places. She could have been one of them. Ooh, no. Do we want to read about Ekukoi? I think we want to read about Ekukoi. This is from any children. You better keep this one in mind. This is a story you keep in mind. Ekukoi is a scary Mexican urban legend about a creature who kidnaps children who don't behave themselves. He is the Mexican boogeyman. You better behave yourselves. Because if you don't, he's gonna get you. Behave, that's all you gotta do. It's not that hard. What is this music? According to the Mexican folklore, Ekukoi is a small, hideous, hairy creature with glowing red eyes. He has big ears like a bat and a mouth full of razor-sharp teeth like a barracuda. The legend has been passed down over the years by word of mouth, from mother to child. Ooh. Mexican parents often warn their children, behave yourself or Ekukoi will come and take you away. When night falls, Ekukoi comes out. He hides in your closet or under your bed. He can take the shape of any dark shadow. He watches you silently and waits for his moment to pounce. Then, he will take you away to his lair, deep in the mountains, and devour you. Ooh. I grew up in a small town in Mexico. My mother used to tell me ghost stories when I was a child, but none of them scared me as much as Ekukoi. One day, I was angry and I cursed at my mother. She got very quiet and she looked at me with fury burning in her eyes. Slowly and calmly, she said, Ekukoi te va a raspar los pies en la noche, which means Ekukoi is going to scratch your feet tonight. Something about the way she said it really scared me. That night, I went to bed and it took me nearly 2 hours to fall asleep. The next morning when I woke up, I got out of bed and noticed that my feet were sore. I looked down and saw that both of my feet had long red scratches on them. It truly terrified me because I didn't know if Ekukoi was real or if my mother was so crazy that she scratched on my feet while I was asleep to teach me a lesson. That's it. St. Philip's is on here for some reason. That's it, I think. Yep. I don't know how I feel about that. Next, we're gonna read Chupacabra. We're gonna read the Chupacabra next. My grandpa actually used to scare me when I would go camping and would say the Chupacabra is gonna get you. He's living in his woods for some reason. He came to get you or something. It was very terrifying. The Chupacabra, or goat sucker, is a scary monster that is believed to drain the blood of its victims. There have been sightings of this creature in Puerto Rico, Nicaragua, Chile, and Mexico. Locals call it a chupacabras. It has terrorized farms and is responsible for animal mutilations, the killing of livestock like goats, cattle, and horses. Ooh. Get ready for this one. I know this one because of my family. According to those who have seen it, the chupacabra has 2 small arms with a 3-fingered clawed hand, 2 strong, almost reptilian hind legs, again with 3 claws and spinal quills down its back, which it uses to fly. This appears to enable it to run quickly and leap over trees. Its head is oval in shape. I can't. Its head is oval in shape. Oh my goodness. I don't know how to feel about this. It has an elongated jaw. It appears to have strong coarse hair all over its body. The chupacabra is like some kind of vampire that preys on animals. Farmers have found their animals lying dead on the ground with puncture wounds in its neck basically and, down for the count. Sightings of chupacabra continue to be reported in various parts of Puerto Rico and Texas. It has allegedly killed 11 goats in the town of San Herman, I don't know how to read that, and on occasion a group of townspeople said they chased the creature away as it was attempting to kill 3 roosters. What is this song? It's fine. In Guanica, a 44-year-old man was grabbed from behind by an unidentified creature. He managed to fight the creature off and later received treatment for scratches and cuts on his body. Ooh. No pictures or videos have been captured of El Chupacabras yet, but some people have seen it in daylight. When villagers in Campo Rico spotted the creature, they chased it into the woods. The mayor got together an army of volunteers to hunt for it. They were armed with rifles and had a caged goat to use as bait. However, they failed to catch the legendary goat soldier. Farmers in Colombia, Chile woke to find their goats and sheep dead in their pen. The Lama officials quickly called in the National Guard. Hundreds of armed soldiers undertook a massive search of the area, hunting the chupacabra. Night patrols, however, found nothing. The chupacabra is still at large. Since then, the chupacabra has been blamed in the deaths of over 2,000 animals ranging from other livestock to household pets. There have been sightings of the beast in several American cities, including Miami, New York, San Antonio, Cambridge, and San Francisco. Ooh. How you feel about that? I don't know how I feel about that. That's kind of weird. That isn't fun. That is not fun at all, is all I'm gonna say. That would give me some trauma, maybe. I think that would give me some trauma. So I don't know how I feel about that one at all. Now I'm trying to figure out, do we read creepypasta story on here or on the website? Because there's a bunch of them on here, but I know there's a website also that we can read it on. Let me see if I can find it real quickly, because if I can find it, then I will pull that up for us. Let me see.
I'm Andrea, founder of a boutique handbag brand, Andy, and this is why I switched to Shopify. I tried 3 other platforms prior to Shopify, and I remember
There's also tons of ads on here.
One little change and my entire site would go down. Shopify made it really easy for me to shift everything over.
There's a bunch, but that one, I think the one we're on right now has more like the popular ones. So we might read on there instead.
Go to shopify.com/.
Only because it has more popular and there's another ad. I hate ads. I hate ads. So, yeah. We're gonna update this. Because I feel like if we put creepypasta in the title, more people. I spelled that wrong. Because I feel like if we update it, more people will probably be willing to watch. I know my people sometimes. They love watching stories like this. Because people, you know? I wonder if I can put that as a hashtag. Is there a hashtag for that? There is. Okay, we updated that. Is the music good again? It is good again. So we'll probably go back and we'll figure out what to read. That's all we have to do right now is figure out what we're gonna read. Because depending on what we read is depending on, yeah, what we read. That's all it depends on. We gotta learn to read the stories. Reading stories is good. I started this stream when my parents left. It's been an hour since my parents are gone. Let's see how long we can keep this up. Let's see how long my parents are gone. We'll keep until they come home. Because it's like a game now. So I don't know which one we should read. Because they have more popular ones on here, I think. Oh wait, you know the Lavender Town one? I haven't told anyone this, but one time I found the song, you know? And I didn't click anything on it. I just found it once on my old tablet. And I turned my tablet off, I remember. But as I was sleeping, the song just started to play. And like I freaked out because my tablet was off. And I looked and it was turned on for some reason. But like the only thing that was displayed was the song name and that it was playing. Like usual. But the whole tablet was off. So I panicked and it was in the middle of the night. I remember because I was gonna scream and call my mom. But I didn't for some reason because I didn't want to wake them up. I was afraid I would get in trouble. And that they would probably think, oh, this is just a joke she's probably playing on us. So I turned my tablet on and I tried to pause the song, but it kept on playing. And at some point it just wouldn't stop. So I remembered that I took my tablet, I like covered where the audio came from, and I threw it in my closet for the night. And like I buried it under a bunch of things to the point where I couldn't hear the song anymore. And I closed my closet and I tried to go back to sleep. It took me like an hour or so for me to actually fall back asleep, I remember. And the next morning when I woke up, I like forgot that it had happened until I saw my tablet wasn't like near my bed anymore. And then I remembered and I went. The song was still on there, but it was paused. And from what I could have seen, it replayed all night long until I paused it. Well, I didn't pause it until it paused itself. And I was so scared. I think that was like in the summertime or something. I was terrified that had happened. And I didn't go into my tablet for like a week, I think. That like made me not use my tablet. But now I got a phone and a laptop. Because of that, should we read this one? I think we should. We're gonna read it. We're gonna read it and we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna read it, yeah. I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm so scared. I have not had good things of this. I have not had good things of this. Okay, we're not reading this. I remembered what it's about. This is hard to read some of these, because, like, I don't want some of these people to see some of this, because violations and all that. But then there's some of them I'm just like, oh no. This is terrifying. I don't want people to hear about this. I don't want them to do something to themselves type thing. What is Guardian Angel? I'm kind of scared. Let's see. We're gonna read the Guardian Angel one. The Guardian Angel is a creepypasta story about a strange and deformed being that follows you wherever you go. I'm putting a curse on y'all, I think. It's like a poem. Oh, I love it. That's not right. Let me get that good voice on. Let me turn on the music a little. Y'all can still hear it, but not as much. Let me get that good voice on for a minute. I am always with you. I was there from the time you were born. I stood in the delivery room, staring down at you before you could even open your eyes to see me. Your parents, relatives, and doctors couldn't see me there. In the corner, watching you with cloudy eyes, but I was there from time to time. I was there the time you were born. And I followed you home. I was with you always, your constant companion. You played with your toys alone while I stared from all angles, in the nearby mirrors. My matted, cluttered hair with oily sweat that hung off my dented forehead like glue. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about this. I was always your constant companion, drifting behind your mother's car on your ride to preschool. You alone in the bathroom, but I was on the other side of the door, wind whistling through the bruised hole in my throat. My arms twisted and hanging in their sockets as I stood hunched on the other side of the shower curtain. I wait and follow you. I follow and drift behind you. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about this one. I am not seen. I am almost not there in light. You never saw me that morning as I sat across from you at the breakfast table, a shiny red clod hanging from an empty tooth socket as I gaped grotesquely at you. I wonder sometimes if you know I am there. I think you are aware, but you'll never understand just how close I am. I spent hours of your day doing nothing more than breathing in your ear. Oh god, some car just drove by me. I got scared. Breathing and gagging, really. I crave to be close to you, to always wrap my crippled arms around your neck. I lie near you every single night, cloudy eyes staring at your ceiling, underneath your bed, at your sleeping face in the dark. Yes, you caught me staring occasionally. Your parents came running down to your room one night when you screamed. You were just beginning to talk, and the only thing you could cry out. I can't even read that. A man in my room. You thought you'd never forget the sight of me. With my collapsed jaw hanging to my chest, swinging back and forth. I sank back into your closet, and your mother was unable to see me, though you pointed and pointed and pointed. You thought you'd never forget me when they left that same night. You saw the closet door crack so softly and me crawling across the floor to your bed on all fours, shambling and jerking movements as I pushed myself under your bed on disjointed limbs. You learned a new word for me. Boogeyman. Not quite the monster you thought I was. I am just waiting and following you always, touching your face with my knotted fingers as you sleep. Oh my goodness. This one's crazy. You'll see me again soon. Any day now, I am coming, blunt and brutal. One day, you'll walk across the road, and I believe I'll plow into you I think it's a car will plow into you with loud roar and a screech. You rolling on the pavement, rolling under wheels, blunt force metal fenders, and my fingers touching your face again and again. As you stare up from the cold pavement with cloudy eyes, your matted, clotted hair hanging in your face and your jaw unhinged and swinging to your chest, you'll see me approaching. No one else will see me. You will stare past them into my eyes, and I'll leer down at you. For the first time in our life, something like a smile will come over my face. You'll swear you're looking into a mirror as clotted red bubbles from our mouths. I'll lean down, past the doctors and oogling people and pick you up in my crooked arms. Our faces will touch, my wings will unfurl, and then you'll have to follow me. I am always with you. I am your guardian angel. And now we clap. We clap for that story. I think I did pretty good reading just now. I wish I could read like this in class. There isn't a lot. What's another one that we might want to read? What's another one we might want to read that might be short as we wait for my parents to come back? Cause we're timing them now. It's like a game. This stream is now a game to see how long I can stream before my parents get back home. It makes so much noise that I can't stream. We're gonna read maybe the Laughing Jack one, because I've heard this one before. Laughing Jack is a scary creepypasta story about a mother who discovers that her young son has an imaginary friend, a clown. I used to have imaginary friends. I used to have so many imaginary friends. We don't talk about the amount of friends I had, for it was too many to count. Not real life ones, imaginary ones. And that makes me seem sad. I was a sad child, okay? Now, we're getting on with the story. It was a nice summer day. My 5-year-old son, James, was playing outside in the backyard. He was a quiet boy and played by himself mostly. He never had many friends, but he always had a wild imagination. I was in the kitchen feeding our dog, Fido, I don't know, when I heard what sounded like James talking to someone in the backyard. I wondered who he could be talking to. Could he have finally made a friend? Being a single mom, it's hard for me to always keep an eye on my son, so I decided to go outside and check on him. James was alone in the backyard. Was he talking to himself? I could have sworn I heard another voice. James, it's time to come inside, I called out to him. He came in and sat down at the kitchen table. Ooh, James is talking to people. James is talking to people. Let's go. James, who are you talking to out there? I asked. James looked up for a moment. I was playing with my new friend, he said, smiling. Does your friend have a name? I asked. James stared at me for a moment before replying. His name is Laughing Jack. Oh, that's a strange name. What does your friend look like? A clown, James replied. He has long hair and a big swirly cone nose. He's got long arms and baggy pants with stripy socks, and he always smiles. Ooh. I realized my son was talking about an imaginary friend. I suppose it is normal for kids his age to have imaginary friends, especially when he has no real kids to play with. That was uncalled for. I feel called out. The rest of the day was uneventful, and as it was starting to get late, I put James to bed. I tucked him in, gave him a kiss, and made sure to turn on his nightlight before I closed the door. I was pretty tired myself, so I decided to go to bed not long after. I had an awful nightmare. It was dark. I was running in some kind of rundown amusement park. I was scared, running through an endless field of empty tents, broken down rides, and abandoned game huts. The whole place had a horrible look to it. Everything was black and white. The prize stuffed animals all hung from, in the game huts, all with sick grins stitched on their faces. It felt like the whole park was looking at me, even though there wasn't another living thing in sight. Then suddenly, I began to hear music play. The sounds of Pop Goes the Weasel began playing on a squeeze box echoed through the park. It was hypnotizing. I followed its tunes to the circus tent, almost in a trance, unable to stop my legs from moving forward. It was pitch black. The only light came from a single spotlight shining on the big center of the big top. As I walked toward the light, the music slowed down. I found myself singing along, unable to stop. All around the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel. The monkey thought it was all fun.
Listening freedom with Spotify Premium Duo. Tune
The
in
music
together,
stopped right before its climax, and suddenly the light shot on. They were all blinding, and all I could see was a small, dark silhouette shuffling towards me. Then another one appeared, and another and another. There were dozens of them, all coming toward me. I couldn't move. My legs were frozen. All I could do was watch as the haunting figures drew nearer. Ooh. That's terrifying, I guess. As they got closer, I could see that they were children. As I looked at each one, I noticed they were all horribly disfigured and mutilated. Some had cuts all over their bodies, others were severely burnt, and others were missing basically limbs. The children enveloped me, clawing at my flesh, dragging me to the ground and tearing inside me. As the children tore me apart and I faded away, all I could hear was laughter. Horrible, awful, evil laughter. I woke up the next morning in a cold sweat. After taking a few deep breaths, I looked over and saw that a few of James's action figures were positioned, facing me on top of my nightstand. I sighed. James had probably woken up earlier and put these down. I gathered up the toys and made my way to James's room. However, when I opened the door, James was sound asleep. I just shrugged and placed the toys back into his toy box and headed out to the living room. A little while later, James woke up and I made him his breakfast. He was quiet and seemed a bit groggy. Perhaps he didn't sleep well either. I decided to ask him about the toys. James, honey, did you put the toys in Mommy's room this morning? His eyes shot up at me for a moment, then glanced back down to his cereal. Laughing Jack did it. I rolled my eyes and responded, well, you tell Laughing Jack to keep the toys in your room. James nodded and finished up his breakfast, then decided to go play out in the backyard. I went to relax in the living room, and I must have dozed off because I woke up a couple hours later. I was a bit worried. I needed to check on James. It had been over 2 hours and I hadn't seen him. I once stepped out into the backyard, but James wasn't there anymore. I was getting nervous, so I called out to him, James! James, where are you? Just then, I heard a giggle coming from the front yard. I rushed through the gate, around to the front of the house. James was sitting on the sidewalk. I breathed a sigh of relief and walked over to him. James, how many times have I told you to stay in the backyard? James, what are you eating? James looked up to me, then reached into his pocket and pulled out a handful of hard candies. This made me very nervous. James, who gave you that candy? James just stared at me, not speaking. James, I cried, please tell Mommy where you got that candy. James hung his head down and said, Laughing Jack gave it to me. My heart sunk. I knelt down to look him in the eye. James, we've had enough of this Laughing Jack thing. He is not real. Now this is a very serious situation and I need to know who gave you that candy. I could see my son's eyes tearing up. But Mama, Laughing Jack did give me the candy. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. James have never lied to me, but what he was telling me was impossible. I made him spit out the candy and I threw the rest away. James appeared to be fine. Maybe I was just overreacting. That night I put James to bed as usual and decided to go to bed early myself. Suddenly, I was woken up by a loud bang coming from the kitchen. I sprang out of bed and hurried down the stairs. When I got to the kitchen, I was horrified. Everything on the counters had been thrown on the floor, and the body of our dog Fido was hanging from the light fixture. His stomach was, open and stuffed with candy, the same type that James was eating earlier that day. My shock was quickly broken by a sharp scream coming from James' room, followed by loud crashes. Dang. I quickly grabbed a knife from the drawer and moved up the stairs with the speed that only a mother whose child is in danger could have. I burst through the door and flicked on the lights. Everything in the room was knocked over and tossed onto the floor. My son in his bed, crying and shaking with fear. A pool of urine staining the sheets. I scooped my child up and ran out of the house and went next door to the neighbor's house. Luckily, they were still awake. They let me use their phone and I called the police. It didn't take them long to arrive and I explained what happened. They looked at me as if I went crazy. They searched the house, but all they found was the dead dog and 2 trash rooms. The officer told me that someone had probably gotten into the house and done this, making a quick escape when they heard me coming up the stairs. I knew it wasn't true. All the doors were locked and none of the windows were open. Whatever was in my house didn't come from the outside. The next day, James stayed inside. I didn't want him to leave my sight. I went into the garage and found his old baby monitor and set it up in his room. If anything comes into this room tonight, I'm going to be able to hear it. I went to the kitchen and grabbed the largest knife from the drawer and put it on my nightstand. Imaginary or not, I am not letting anything hurt my little boy. Soon enough, night came. I put James to bed. He was afraid, but I promised him that I wasn't going to let anything happen to him. I tucked him in, gave him a kiss, and turned on the light. Before closing the door, I whispered, "Good night, James. I love you." I tried to stay up as long as I could, but after a few hours, I felt myself drifting off. My baby would be safe for the night, and I needed to sleep. Just as I laid my head on the pillow, I heard a soft noise come from the baby monitor I had put on my nightstand. At first, it sounded like an interference, like the kind a radio would make. Then it turned into a soft moan. Was James asleep? Then I heard it, the laugh from my nightmare, that horrible laugh. I jumped out of the bed and grabbed the knife from under my pillow. I rushed over to James's room and creaked the door open. I tried the light switch, but it wouldn't come on. I took a step in and I could feel the warm, thick liquid on my feet. Suddenly, James' nightlight came on, and I could see the absolute horror laid out in front of me. James, his body was nailed up to the wall, the nails piercing through his hands and feet. His chest was cut open. Everything had been removed. I was disgusted. I could hardly believe this was my baby boy. Then I heard it again, the soft, desperate moan. James was still alive. My baby, my poor baby, in so much pain, barely clinging to life. I ran across the room and vomited on the floor, but my sickness was interrupted by a horrible cackle coming from behind me. I spun around, while still wiping bile from my mouth. Then out of the shadows emerged the fiend responsible for all this horror. Laughing Jack. His ghost-like skin and matted black hair hung down to his shoulders. He had piercing white eyes surrounded by dark black rings. His twisted smile revealed a row of sharp, jagged teeth, and his skin didn't look like skin at all. It almost looked like rubber or plastic. He wore a patchy black and white clown outfit with striped sleeves and socks. His body itself was grotesque, his long arms hanging down past his waist, and the way he poised himself made him look almost like a boneless, like a rag doll. He let out a sickening laugh as if to let me know he was pleased with my reaction to his work. He then slowly turned around, slowly in front of James, and began to laugh even more at the horrific sight he has laid out. That was enough to shake me from my terror. Get away from him, I snapped. I rushed at the monster, raising the knife above my head, and stabbed down at him. But as soon as the knife touched him, he disappeared in a cloud of black smoke. The knife passed right through and pierced James' still beating heart, splashing my warm place of blood. No. What have I done? My baby! I killed my baby! I immediately fell to my knees and I could hear sirens in the distance growing louder. My boy, my sweet baby boy. I promised Mommy would protect you, but I failed. I'm sorry, James. I'm so sorry. Police soon arrived to find me in front of my dead son, still wielding the knife covered in my baby's blood. The trial was short. I was found not guilty by reason of insanity. I was placed in a mental home for the criminally insane, where I have been for the past 2 months. It's not so bad here. The only reason I am awake now is because someone is playing Pop Goes the Weasel outside of my window. I'll talk to the orderlies about it in the morning. So how'd y'all feel about that? I think it was okay. I think I did some good reading is all I'm gonna say. I'm very good at reading for some reason. I should do more games and like read more. There's a lot more, but I don't know what else there is we should read. Let me go check real quick and see if my parents are here. Okay, so they're not here yet, but they could be getting here soon because it's almost been 2 hours and I'm very hungry now. I want to eat now. Yeah. Is there any other story we should read? I don't really know if we can read any more stories. My voice is starting to actually get tired. I am not kidding. Tired. It happens to the best of us, I believe. Let me... It happens to the best of us. Like, for real. I'm gonna see if I can find anything else. If not, I don't know. So let me put that on.
You want me near, can't say I don't want you to. But you're gonna get burned if you come too close, it's true. When you're the one who lit me up, don't you dare saying I didn't fight for us. It's the tension between us. You want me near, can't say I don't want you to. You gonna get burned if you come too close, it's true. You're the one who lit me up. Can't take me much higher. Yeah, you're the one who lit me up. Tell me, baby, can't you see that I'm on fire? Tell me, baby, can't you see that I'm on fire? Tell me, baby, can't you see that I'm on fire?
I honestly don't know what I should do next. If I should read more stories, if I should play a game. I might play later. I might stream later, I mean. Because I know at some point when my parents get home, we're probably gonna eat. And I promised I would go on a walk today. And I don't know if I want to stream that walk. It depends on where we go. But I do know I plan on buying or downloading a game. And it's a Halloween game. And I plan on streaming it later, maybe. I mean, unless I buy it now, but I don't know if I have enough time to buy it now. I'm trying to find it first. But I mean, it does depend on what happens later and how everything is. Because it really does actually depend on how I feel later. On if I want to stream or if I pass out. I've been trying to stay awake these past couple of days. It's been hard to just stay awake. Let me look for the game, see if I can download it, and if I can get it, I might play it now. But it all depends, as I said, on what happens in a couple of minutes.
Turn up the volume. This is Hits 2023.
There's another stupid ad. Why are there always so many
Spice.
ads? I hate ads. This is gonna make me get premium, I bet. Something about this will make me buy premium. I am not kidding. I need to see if I can find the game that I was thinking of. Because if I can, then we can play it. But if I don't, then yeah, I don't have it. So we might have to download it, find it. We're definitely gonna have to find it, is all I know. It might be in my wish list. Let me check. Let me see. It might be there. It's in there. It's in the wish list. Okay. So the games I was thinking of playing. Let me see if I can just show. Hopefully I can show. Trying to see if I can get it to show. I got it to show, but because we're in my wish list right now, and I don't know if you can see that. I think y'all can. I can't really tell. Okay, so y'all can see. So as you can see, there's two games I was trying to see if I wanted to play. This first one is called Trick or Treat, and the other one's Grimm's Hollow. And I think I've seen people play Grimm's Hollow on Twitch before, so I might play that one later. But there's also Trick or Treat that I might get also. So I just wanted to show y'all these two games. Maybe might play them. I really don't know. It depends. Well, I will play them, but it depends on if I play them today, is the thing. I think I can show y'all the description. So, I'm gonna pause. Trick or Treat. Trick-or-treating in a vampire's house. Trick or Treat is a light-hearted Halloween adventure. It is about exploring and solving puzzles in a spooky atmosphere. There will be some horror elements, romance, many bad endings, and a happy ending of true love. That is what this game is about. And the other one, Grimm's Hollow, let's see, hopefully, is a spooky freeware RPG where you search the afterlife for your brother. Read ghosts with your sight, explore haunted caves, and eat ghostly treats on your journey through death. So that's those two games. We might play them. Maybe Grimm's Hollow might be first. I honestly don't know which one I'll play first. Maybe Trick or Treat will probably be more near Halloween. But I will find some more Halloween games to play, more horror games, and we will play them on here. We just don't know when. I just don't know when I'll play them. It really does all depend on when I'll play, if I'll play, and just everything about that. It all depends. So maybe later we'll play. I'm planning on probably playing later, yeah. Hopefully everything will go well, is what I hope. Because I don't want nothing wrong, of course. What is this song? So yeah, hopefully we get to play one of the games. Hopefully. And hopefully we enjoy it. Because I honestly don't know if I'll enjoy that game or not. I honestly don't know if people watching me will enjoy the game, and that's my whole issue. I want people to be able to enjoy what I play. Let's see the time. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed it. I might ask which one I might want to play, which one y'all might want me to play, because I do know I have some followers on TikTok, and some on Twitter, and some on here, and I know I can make polls, and depending on that, I'll ask them which one is probably better to play, and see who interacts. Because, depending on it, we will play, is what I've been trying to say. And my favorite might be Grimm's Hollow yet. Because I don't know about it yet, but I've seen people play it. I've seen small clips of it, and I think it'll be fun. We'll see if it'll be fun or not. We don't know yet. But honestly, I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I'm very tired now. It's almost been 2 hours, which is good for me because I haven't streamed for 2 hours. I've been getting tired, and I don't really plan much on what to do yet. But later on, I do know I'll probably plan more. I might be alone longer later, so I'll probably be able to stream longer. And hopefully I'll be able to stream longer because, yeah, as I said, I might be alone more, which means more streaming, less background noise. I do have a dog, so I might have to go check on her once in a while. But yeah, I think today was a good stream. I think it was a great stream. I think my best part of it, I think I read immaculately. I should be in more reading things. People need to find me and need me to read things for them, because I honestly believe I am a great reader. But that's my own opinion. You can have different opinions, but as I said, I hope you enjoyed today's stream. We are going to be ending. I'm sorry, but it is what it is, you know? I hope you enjoyed every story. Might stream later, as I said. Might play some games. Might play Minecraft, maybe not. Maybe some Sims, make some spooky Sims is what I was probably gonna do. But we'll see what happens. It honestly all depends on fate, as we said. So I hope you enjoyed the stream. Hopefully I'll see you later.